Hello. Today we are going to talk to you about what a deontological code is. But what is it and what is a deontological code used for? It is the set of ethical norms and values that regulate the behavior of professionals. To learn more about the topic, we present the following interview. Today, we are the head office of the Industrial Engineering Division at the Higher Technological Institute of the Western region of the state of Hidalgo to interview engineer Anwar Quintero Ocariz. He is a chemical engineer and head of the Industrial Engineering program. The interview we are going to conduct will be about his code of ethics for the ethics workshop course. First question, please. You know your code of ethics? I am familiar with the code of ethics that we use here at the Higher Technological Institute of the Western region of the state of Hidalgo. We have a code of ethics that guides us, especially as public servants.
Have you ever followed your code of ethics?
Well, no that I am aware of, right. One always tries to act with the greatest possible adherence of the code of ethics. This implies having a certain length of values such as respect, honesty, integrity, and also professional training.
What ethical advice would you give us as engineers?
Okay, ethically speaking, always adhere to legality, one hand to the legality of the rules. As engineers, it also involves copyright, for example, industrial secrecy. In the future, you will work in an industry with its own secrets and ways of working, and the company tells you that you have the right to keep them. In that sense, you must adhere to your code and respect that aspect. I have and experience. For a time, I worked at the Modelo company in Tuxtepec, Oaxaca, and there, even by contract, they stated that once we stopped working, where we could not talk about anything related to the plant until after 5 years, and that is what I mean by industrial secrecy. So the best way to carry this out without it feeling heavy or like an obligation is to act with legality, along with the other values I mentioned, such as respectful treatment of co-workers and maintaining integrity. What does it mean to be integrity? To be integrity means doing things right even when no one is watching. For example, if I am alone here in my office and I detect some things that might, let's call it, allow some improper activity, I should not accept it. That is what integrity refers to, doing the right thing even well no one is watching. So we must act with integrity, act with respect, and respect others' right. So as engineers, that is part of legality and what must be done, because in the future you will enter a world of industry with their own rules, let's say with their own secrets in a positive sense. Those secrets are also something you must know how to respect and keep right. Do you think we can move on the next question? Of course.
Have you ever carried out any ethical action for society? In the other words, have you done something good for society from an ethical perspective?
Look, I don't know if it completely falls within the scope of ethics, but I will share it anyway. Many years ago, I had about 3 years after starting. I was a teacher and tutor of a group, and one day one of my students approached me began to explain his problem. In general terms, the problem was that she was pregnant and was thinking about having an abortion. I talked to him, we discussed it, I tried to show here the whole picture, not just focus on a single aspect of the problem, but to see all the possibilities after talking with her, she became convinced that having her child was not something bad. The timing worked. She could continue developing herself. She was already in her eighth semester. She could finish her internship, have her child, and then graduate without any problem. With that, I remember this moment while we are talking about ethics because as her tutor and teacher years later, I have met here again. She is from Tesuntepec, and when I see her, she seems fulfilled, perhaps because she obtained her degree and as an engineer in agro-industrial industries. She graduated, had her child post photos on her social media with her child apparently happy, and she has a profession, a family, and a job. To let's say that gave me great satisfaction. It is not something I go around telling everyone, but I gave me great satisfaction because what could have been a tragedy turned into many benefits. She had her children, her professional degree, works, and that degree allows her to have a job. She completed her studies, so I think that was one of those moments when I said, I think I did my job well. I don't know if it falls within ethics, but it gave me great satisfaction. When returning to the question, what has been the most impactful role of your code of ethics? I think the part of code of ethics that I like the most is the value section. I believe that this is where everything writing the code of ethics is grounded. The code of ethics used by the institute includes five values: respect, justice, honesty, innovation, and solidarity. And out of those five, my favorite is respect. I believe that if everything we do is done in terms of respect, we can go beyond our personal and professional difference, working with respect for everyone. I say this because there is seven: respect for the workplace, respect for the machines, for my computer. If one respects or even respect oneself, everything can turn out as planned. That is the part that resonates the most with me. Well, this will be from our side. We appreciate you taking the time to attend our interview. Thank you. At your service, students.